All right, hope everybody's doing good out there. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks again to those of y'all that click the thumbs up and subscribe and share the videos. That helps the channel a lot. The more growth that we get, the more videos that we can do. So I appreciate all y'all that do that. So today we're continuing on with part 2 of we're loading 338 special with 158 grain XTP bullets. If you've not seen the first video, you can go back and check that out from a couple of weeks ago, where we get into and we basically do an overview of the project, everything we're going to use and why. Now we're actually getting into the process of going ahead and going through the whole reloading process. And so it will be a multi-part series as we go through and do all this stuff. The first thing we're going to do is resizing right here on the Lee app. So with the Lee app here, I do have another video that's going to be coming out talking about some of the different things that I've learned over the year of, I guess about a year and a half of actually owning this press. A year ago, I did my first video on it, and that video actually got about 10,000 views and attracted a lot of comments as well. So I did kind of an update video on different things that I've learned since. And yeah, so the Lee app, it's definitely an interesting press. It can get a lot of things done very quickly. There are a couple little foibles with it and all that. So I think a lot of it is owning it, is kind of addressing a lot of those issues. And, you know, when it's running good, it's, you know, awesome. You can just blaze right through stuff, no problems at all. Tonight, we actually had, before I have started this video, actually ran into a couple of issues. And one of the things I decided to go ahead and do was remove the spring that's inside here underneath the shell holder, and just kind of did a test fire on it, and everything worked perfectly. So that's good. That spring actually helps hold the shell holder in, this whole piece here that drops out. So without that tension kind of pushing up on that shell holder, it was giving me issues in terms of feeding it in there with these 38 cases. And also too, the shell holder is new, so that could be part of it. Maybe needs a little polish or whatever. One of the things I've also found with this press, and I'll get into in that other video, is that when you have new parts on this press, they seem to take a while to wear in, and then once you do, you tend to have less issues. So that's something that we'll definitely talk about in that other video coming up. So anyways, we've got everything set up for resizing. We've got our shell holder in there, the resizing die. We went ahead and got that all set up. That's pretty easy to do. So we're good to go on that. And I also checked to make sure that the cases were being resized properly. So I used my case gauge here. This one's here for 357 Magnum, but we're just checking for resizing. So that's good enough for right now. I have a 38 one on the way, specific to 38 special. So we'll have that coming soon. But anyways, got it all set up. And then the other thing is this right here with the case feeder. So that is the one thing with the case feeder on this, and this whole setup with these risers and that whole deal. That is something you do have to pay close attention to, because if you don't get that set up right, and also too with these fingers sometimes and adjusting that with a little screw, that's where you can also have problems too. So I use the coin, just like Lee says to do, to set up the height of it. And a lot of it is just kind of setting up these wing nuts here and getting adjusted to the right height, picking out the right riser, all that stuff. So if you can kind of get that going good, then you shouldn't have too many issues in terms of feeding. You know, so that's something to pay attention to. I'd say total time for me actually setting up, getting that plugged in, getting the die set up, getting the case feeder set in, probably took me about 45 minutes. Once I dug up all the different pieces and dies and all this stuff and got it all set up and checked to make sure it was, you know, running good and, you know, it was resizing properly and all that, you know, basically about 45 minutes, okay? And then the other thing I just did was pop that spring out, so I'll get into that in the other video. But anyways, we should be good to go now and get some cases resized. So hopefully shouldn't have too many issues here. And then one thing I always find with this too is make sure that you have a good throw when you come back up with it, to really kick those cases out of there. Now, another thing that came up in a lot of my Lee app videos, there were different comments and stuff where people were concerned about the table flexing and doing all sorts of flexing or movements or whatever you pick up on the camera. There's a couple of things to keep in mind with this is that, one, I'm using an iPhone, so it's going to pick up vibration pretty good. Also, too, this stand here, if you as much as sneeze on it, it's going to move around and vibrate. So that's something to kind of be aware of. And, you know, probably at some point I'll look at getting a better stand or whatever. With the table here, this is actually a Cobalt table from Lowe's. That's got laminated wood, and then also too underneath what I did was I got rid of the metal railings that it kind of came with to bolt the top here too, and used essentially 2x10s underneath and reinforced it pretty good. And then down here I built kind of my own shelf, and I've got like 800 pounds of lead and bullets and ammo and all that crap on there. So you know, if you do see any vibration or flexing, believe me, this damn table, it's pretty damn solid, okay? So it's a matter of some of the technical things and all that with the camera, the stand, and, you know, perhaps there'll be a little shaking with the table, but believe me, this thing is not really flexing. There were people out there, it was triggering their OCD, they were having to go into therapy to get help, it was just totally freaking them out. So don't worry, everything is fine. We're not having any major issues here. With any sort of bending or flexing of the table or anything like that. So it's all just, it's like Hollywood. It's one of those optical illusions, okay? So we're getting everything sized, and everything's kind of going good. Oh, we did have a little jam here. Okay. So just kind of watch for that. Yeah. So that one particular case right there. So, you know, there is the potential there for perhaps your rims get nicked or whatever, but I think a lot of it is that that shell holder there is brand new. So it comes off the production line. It's, you know, whatever the edges, whatever they might be. And so it's a thing of perhaps I might have to get in there, give that a little bit of a polish, and, you know, maybe that will reduce the issues with that. And like I said, I've removed the spring out of there, which has had, you know, major impact in terms of making this better, is getting rid of that spring. And a little jam there. So things were going pretty good there for a while. And then, oh, our little fingers there. Okay. So the other thing too is with these fingers, a lot of times you do have to adjust them a little bit, and that can be kind of a magical science to kind of figure out. You know, yeah, they seem to be going okay there. So, yep, that is the thing sometimes with this press, is just kind of those little things they're kind of always tweaking them. And I just think this whole area here is one area of the press that could definitely be looked at, maybe improved on a little bit, and also to make it easier to set up. Now I know there's some folks out there that have done some 3D printing and have come up with some different things for that. I've not gotten into 3D printing yet. It's something that I could, you know, possibly look at in the future, but it's not been like a priority. I got so many other things to do right now. But yeah, it's something I could consider down the road. I've looked around for different accessories and stuff and haven't really found much in terms of the aftermarket coming in and doing anything with this press. And so it still seems to be kind of a niche press where it had some initial attention, and then I haven't really heard as much about it recently. Which is kind of a shame, because outside of sometimes these little foibles, and you can see right now it's running just fine. No problems at all. Just getting right through it. Yeah. So that tube there, no problem. So cool, you know. So with this press, I mean, the thing is, it's like that first video I did, Brilliant Applied. There's just a couple little foibles about it. You know, it's kind of this little science you have to kind of figure out to make sure, you know, with all these little plastic parts and different things, and just getting everything tuned in, and then, you know, things like where you've got to remove the spring and to get that to work, and you know, but as you can see though, when it's running good, we can get through the brass pretty fast. Now, some folks might ask and say, well, why don't you put this on the progressive? Well, the thing is, with the amount of brass here that we're doing, this is about half of it left already. It's not worth it to me to get the progressive press all dialed in, all different 5 stations set up, get all that, you know, set up and, you know, everything. It just takes too much time to do that with the amount of brass we're running through here. And right now I'm getting that going for 9mm, which is thousands of cases. So it's, you know, for the Lee app, for smaller projects like this, we can get our case prep done really quick, and then, you know, away we go and get the project done fast to where we're not bogged down, you know, just kind of taking apart all the 9mm stuff, getting it set up for 38, and then, you know, getting the thing with the progressive. A lot of times it's like with this Lee app, you've got to, you know, fiddle fart around for a while to get everything set, you know, and that takes an hour or two or whatever to get everything right. So it's just not worth it to me to go and disrupt that flow with what I have set up on it now. So that's, again, one of the nice things with this is we can get case prep functions done very quickly with it, and it's a time saver, big time. Yeah, you know, I guess another thing you could do is you could get another progressive press and just set it up for 38. And, you know, probably someday down the road when I got a bigger bench or whatever, I'll do that. But for right now, this, you know, hey, this works good. So anyways, we're going to finish up the rest of this. And then the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our expanding done. And then also, to get our cases primed with our new bench-mounted RCBS primer system. So we'll see how that works. I'll be the first time using it, so we'll see how that turns out. So that should be fun. I'm also going to do a full review on that, so that'll be a separate video. And so tune in for next time. We'll get the expanding done, we'll get the priming done. The video after that, we will do the bullet seating and the crimping, and then we will head out to the range and test them out, see how they go. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Tune in to the next set of videos, and we'll see you soon.